This is part two of a 5-part series on things that should be included in your trust as far as contingencies. Why do we need contingencies? Because life happens and life throws us curveballs between the time that we execute our documents and the time that we die. So thing number one was death. We need to plan for potential death of our beneficiaries, even if they're significantly younger than us, like a grandchild. We need to know what happens to their share, and many trusts do not address that. Thing number two is disability. And people say, well, none of my children or grandchildren are special needs individuals. Okay, great. That's wonderful. I'm really happy for you. But what happens if one of them gets in a car accident and ends up with a brain injury? What happens, one of my clients recently, riding their bike, being healthy and getting outdoors, getting some exercise, and got clipped by the mirror of a commercial vehicle and hit their head and is now a disabled individual, unfortunately. Those things happen. And when you have minor children and they go, oh, my minor children are fine, I always ask the question, hypothetically, what happens if the family's driving all down the street together, like sometimes families like to do, and there's a terrible accident? Mom and dad pass away in the front seat of the car in the accident, and in that very moment, one of their children gets a brain injury or spinal cord injury and ends up in a wheelchair or ends up needing some sort of cognitive assistance for the rest of their life. We need to plan for the potential disability. So many times attorneys will just ask the question, is anybody a special needs individual? If yes, we do a special needs trust. If no, call me if something changes. Well, in the example I just gave, where there's a car accident and everybody gets injured or killed together, then you don't have time to go see the attorney and fix it. So why not plan for that statistically unlikely but possible contingency? And so my trusts all say, at the time of my death or the client's death, we take a snapshot of every one of the beneficiaries in that moment. If any of them can be classified as a special needs individual, we automatically convert their portion of the overall distribution or their inheritance into a special needs trust. We don't need to add all the language right now. We just need to put enough in there that at the time of your death, if one of your beneficiaries has become a special needs individual, that we automatically treat them as such and give them the protections of a special needs trust. These are one of the reasons, or part of the reasons, why people say, your trusts are 60 pages. That's ridiculous. I have a 15-page trust and it works just fine. Well, it does until it doesn't. So why not be prepared? Stay tuned for part 3.